Let me start with one question here. One question to you. Imagine after 20 or maybe 40 years, would you like to live in a city similar to this? Or maybe that? City similar to this? Or maybe you prefer that? If you ask me, of course, I would like to live in a city where I could smell the fresh grass every day. I shouldn't wear any mask just to avoid pollution or terrible smoke, what my colleagues experienced just last week in New York, just feeling this impact of terrible forest fire coming from Canada. But you know, actually, our future might be such that we cannot choose which city to live. And even Global Emissions Gap Report is saying that if we don't do something, the failure to mitigate climate change would lead us to global temperature rise by almost 2.5% in Celsius already in the end of this century. And you know, how would it feel for us as society? I imagine it would be disaster. Or if I want to be even more negative, I would borrow words from United Nations Secretary General from previous Conference of Parties, who said, you know, with projections like that, we are on a highway to climate hell with our foot on accelerator, simply because, you know, those droughts, heat waves, and extreme weather events would become our new and sad reality. And of course, no one wants that. So talking about the transformation which is required to do something, I am proud that I work with Bentley Systems, a company that doesn't deliver Bentley cars, but for more than 39 years, we deliver infrastructure software solutions to our users, who are mainly engineers, other professionals, and they are responsible for basically designing, constructing, operating all the frame of our planet, all types of infrastructure from above to below ground. So with our help, they are making the biggest difference. Therefore, my presentation today will be focused on strategic project management part and how to make the bigger difference in infrastructure sector. And today I am more than happy to share that I am delivering the presentation not only as project manager, but also as sustainability ambassador at the same company. And of course, first I'd like to say that all the thoughts and insights are solely mine and doesn't represent views of Bentley Systems. But why infrastructure projects, you might wonder? Well, from United Nations reports, we already know that infrastructure is responsible for more than 79% of global carbon emissions. More than 79. It means that we have plenty space of improvements, and we have our users, our heroes solutions to show. One of them you already see here in the picture. Semantic Dam project supposed to supply more than 300 liters of water per second for 61,000 of residents in Indonesia. Moreover, it is projected that it would boost agricultural productivity by 186%. So huge impact, and these are the projects that personally I am amazed. But let me stop here, because you know, sustainability is everywhere, and I am pretty sure it became like a buzzword in every business. We hear that everyone is doing something. And here comes the trap. The major trap here is that many companies are starting on the wrong foot. They're starting their sustainability journey on the wrong foot. And you know, the simple example of that would be when companies start announcing their project as eco-friendly, sustainable, green, when, for example, the raw material supplier comes purely from unsustainable supplier. Therefore, sometimes, you know, we might feel like we live in golden age of greenwashing. And could you guess what is the price of failing your sustainability journey or your sustainable project? Any numbers? Well, from personal perspective, I think the biggest price is not monetary. The biggest price is losing trust and losing reputation of the company. These things are something you cannot bring back so easily, and you know why? Because people remember and planet remembers. And you know, we don't have any second planet. Therefore, we should be acting now. The best news that we can start now just right here. We don't need any new technologies because technologies already exist. The first changes in carbon reduction we can achieve just by first prioritizing sustainable principles like circularity and recycling, making sure that each pieces of supply chain are sustainable and efficient as possible, and of course diversification of renewable energy, because if you think about the whole planet, every country is so different and every landscape is different that it's simply not enough to have one source of renewable energy. So in our transformation journey with infrastructure projects, we should start prioritizing those principles, and then transformating changes happens, then we will be able to achieve those quick wins and show the difference. But okay, let's imagine we already have the right strategy in place. We already have the first results of carbon reduction, and we are in the right way. What's next? Of course, it's time to accelerate, but you know, here comes potential trap again. We shouldn't fall in those potential strategy gaps. Like, for example, you can imagine the complexity of supply chains. You can imagine thousands, hundred thousands of stakeholders and data. The new oil, how complex it can be, and what happens if it's not transparent enough, if it's not easy exchangeable, or we simply fall in data silos. So we at Bentley Systems think that simply there is no single entity or single organization that can achieve this and solve all these issues alone. Therefore, we feel that we can make the bigger difference by working with our users, enabling them with the right technologies, infrastructure solutions that would help to build better infrastructure. And nowadays, better infrastructure doesn't mean just, build another bridge. It means that we should be thinking how to make it low carbon, how to make it more resilient. And what are the solutions addressing those challenges? So, World Economic Forum in Davos last year announced that with digital solutions, it's possible to achieve 20% of global carbon emissions reduction, which is a huge difference. And simply, every organization leader, every decision maker needs to think how to find those sweet spots, how to merge digital improvements with sustainability agenda and to make bigger difference together. We, in software terms, say that we need open approach, open data platform when information can be exchanged and achieved easier. You can trust the data, and of course, every decision maker needs to keep this open approach in mind when they choose simply partners to work with, technologies to work with. And at Bentley Systems, I am proud that we are building one of those technologies. Open platform, which is called Infrastructure Digital Twin, or in simple words, you can imagine like virtual representation of physical body. And we keep Infrastructure Digital Twin as our enabler, our change maker that can lead to this low carbon and more resilient infrastructure. Of course, you might ask why we strongly believe that we are in alignment with the United Nations Sustainability Development Goals. And my answer to this is simply because we already have user stories to tell. And first example I chose, it's perfect representation of ecosystem collaboration, of our partnership with carbon calculation professionals, EC3, and partners like One Click LCA. And here in the video, you see the demo, actually, how we, working together with those partners, we've been able to include carbon calculations to infrastructure digital twin. And for example, those professionals, very early in the project stage, like design stage, they already can start making smarter decisions, by seeing how each bits and pieces of their constructions, how much carbon footprint it generates, or what impact it would bring for the whole planet. So having this information earlier helps to make smarter decisions. And going more, down to the earth, another example is renewable energy revolution in Africa. One of the largest solar power plant in the world, Benban Solar Park in Egypt. And this project is so special from strategic project management perspective because I was listening to the interviews, and leaders said in the beginning the mega project looked simply impossible, because imagine 41 power plant built in empty desert, which means 41 projects going simultaneously. And moreover, the social impact, it's so clear here, because nowadays the project is able to supply more than 300,000 of residential customers with renewable energy, plus more than 4,000 jobs were created during construction. And one more example, and different kind of energy, as you see, it's wind power park in China. Here you see intelligent digital twin created, with the help of our software, we've been able to help to create the digital twin which optimized the design process and which helped to reduce project managers' design process by 3 months and save 570 resource days of the project overall, and I guess around $7 million of dollars were saved during the whole project. So huge impact and of course huge relief for every project leader who knows how to leverage those right technologies. And I know our time is ticking and you are ready to rest, to take a rest for the rest of your day. But I couldn't skip the last example, and this is the mega project, and it's called like biggest puzzle of the world, simply because of the 35 countries working together on another energy revolution. It will be first fusion device which would produce carbon-free energy and would maintain fusion for longer periods of time. And with this giant, actually, I wanted to lead you to this new way of working. And just imagine that each day you wake up and start your day just by adding those VR glasses and walking to the building which hasn't even built yet. This is actually what our colleagues in Bentley Systems Digital Labs are doing. They work with Brigantium engineers and ITER colleagues. We will bring sound back soon. Thank you. And by working together, actually, they are able to experience this new immersive technology and new reality. So with that vision, actually, I just wanted to say that this is what happens when we merge the right technologies with right sustainable purpose. Simply, advancing infrastructure happens. And just to wrap up our session, I actually wanted to wish every project manager, no matter which sector you work, it's not necessary infrastructure. Just think how to close the loop, how to avoid the sustainability trap, and simply, first, don't be afraid of asking questions if our strategy is everlasting. Also, think about sustainability principles. Do we use them in every project? Also, when it's time to accelerate, then use the right technologies. And one more thing, don't forget your biggest power. Communication and collaboration to scale the results, to make the difference not only in your organization, but for the whole planet. And simply, we project leaders cannot achieve those bigger results, just being by perfect project managers. No, we should be driving the change, as we heard in Fola's presentation. We should be those sustainability agents or sustainability ambassadors, as you say. So don't forget to think about closing the loop, because simply we don't have second planet. And for the very end, I would like to share how happy I am. I live in one of the greenest capitals in Europe, in Vilnius, which is celebrating 700 years of anniversary this year. Therefore, Again, I am more than happy to welcome everyone to continue our sustainability and project management journey in another international conference, Bridge 2023, which will be on September 21st.